After my not so triumphant return from Death Valley, I got down to the main reason for the trip, which was helping my sister get her house ready to go to market. Sometimes I'd help her with her computer or some other technology project she had, but most of the time I'd spend my days helping her move boxes, pack boxes, and go through boxes. Sometimes we'd find some cool things, like this old camera of my mom's. Other times we'd find some not so cool things, like this thing. At night, though, I was free to enjoy everything the Las Vegas nightlife had to offer, like play radio. Got something to say? Got something to say? Got something to say? Got something to say? Let's say hello. I mean, come on. What did you think a nerd like me would do in Vegas except enjoy the band conditions and listen to the voice of Korea?
Here between 4 and 5 hours UTC and between 6 and 7 hours UTC on 7,220 kilohertz, 9,445 kilohertz, and 9,730 kilohertz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.
Yep, I was just another tourist in Las Vegas living the glamorous life of Sin City. But I was also itching to get back out and explore the desert. I knew it was too hot to go to Death Valley now, but there were a lot of other places in Nevada I wanted to check out too. And when Sister needed a day to run some errands, I jumped at the chance. Soon the dog and I were headed north out of Vegas on Route 95. I was taking the long way to Lunar Crater Volcanic Field and the Project Faultless test site, plus anything of interest along the way. This was our big opportunity, and the dog and I were more than ready to explore whatever and wherever the road took us. After passing the state prison and getting buzzed by a couple of drones flying out of Cheech Air Force Base, our first stop ended up being at the Area 51 Visitor Center, a full-service gas station and convenience store in more ways than one. Not only could you pick up an Area 51 t-shirt and a bottle of tequila in a decanter shaped like an alien's head, you could also go to the pink buildings next door and visit the Area 51 Cat House for an entirely different kind of service. I figured they weren't a very dog-friendly establishment though, so I decided to pass on the free tour and just get on down the road. I wasn't too far from the visitor center when I saw some cool-looking ruins off in the distance that I needed to check out. The strange, extensive remains of the place gave no clue as to what they did here, but I later found out from Google Maps that identifies this place as being the Elizalde cement plant. If the graffiti is to be believed, though, and graffiti rarely ever lies, I'd say they haven't made concrete here in at least 30 years. Carrying on, we headed north through Beatty and on into Tonopah, where we made a right turn onto Route 6 and headed east down the Grand Army of the Republic Highway. This stretch of road is a ribbon of asphalt through some of the most desolate and intriguing country you will ever lay eyes on. If you ever find yourself on Route 6, top off your tank in Tonopah. The next gas station you'll find along the highway is in Ely, 169 miles down the road. Thanks to some poor planning on my part, it took us a couple of tries down the wrong road before we found the Project Faultless location. Once we did, though, Drax and I found ourselves standing in a caldera left behind by a nuclear blast. The top of that pipe you see there used to be flush with the ground, but the detonation caused the surrounding land to collapse, leaving this 10-foot deep crater behind. To the best of my knowledge, I can't think of another place in the continental U.S. where you can just show up and stand at ground zero of a nuclear detonation. If you know of any other blast sites open to the public 24/7 without prior arrangements or tours, please let me know about them in the comments below. And yes, I left this guy behind to rage on in the rads. Backtracking to the highway, we quickly found ourselves at our second destination, Lunar Crater. Lunar Crater is one part of a much larger volcanic field and was formed when hot magma interacted with groundwater, causing what is called a phreatic eruption. Other eruptions on the field weren't so explosive, like the lava flow left behind by this cinder cone volcano. If you're a geology nerd like me, you should definitely check this place out. While you're at it, check out Geology Hub's YouTube channel as well. He did a nice video on this place that I will link to in the description below. It was getting dark by the time we refueled in Ely, so I decided we'd spend the night before heading back to Vegas the next day. We ended up camping at the Ward Mountain Recreation Area for $8, which wasn't the backcountry escape I was hoping for, but it worked out okay. I slept in the tent while Drax slept in the back seat of the cab with no issues. I wasn't planning on being out overnight, so I didn't have any dog food with me. Drax was okay with this though, since it meant he got to have some of my steak for breakfast.
Drax, it's okay. We're having breakfast very soon. I know.
After doing a little exploring down some of the trails the next morning, we backtracked down Route 395 to the remains of Currant, Nevada, a nearly abandoned little town we passed through the day before. It wasn't too long ago that this place was alive with a motel, restaurant, and gas station, but it's all abandoned now. Considering how wide open this place is, it's still in pretty good condition. I think the TVs in the rooms would need to be upgraded, and I wouldn't trust that big container of ketchup still sitting on the shelf in there. But this place isn't too far away from being ready for customers. Time was really starting to get away from us now, so we headed for Las Vegas via Lund, Nevada and State Route 318. We spied an F-17 fighter banking gently towards us not too far before the White River narrows, and our last adventure of the trip. I had no intention of stopping again before Sister's house, but the pull of the Basin and Range National Monument was too strong, and we had to check it out. The roar of unseen fighter planes filled the sky as I stopped to take a few pictures of the rugged canyon landscape. A little more exploring led us down a narrow canyon road in between towering rock formations before a fence panel, securely fastened on both sides, blocked us from going any further. It looks like I could have found a way around if I backtracked up the highway a few miles, but that exploration will have to wait for another time. That's the big problem with Nevada. There's so much to check out. Everywhere you look, there's a thin ribbon of road leading off into the desert and an unknown adventure on the other side. Sometimes you just have to give in to temptation and see what you can. But soon, our trip to Vegas would be coming to an end, and we had one more epic road trip ahead of us. A trip that would take us through northern Arizona and southern Utah before catching I-80 north of Moab and the long drive back to Iowa. Stay tuned. Drax and I would like to thank everybody for watching our video. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button. And if you feel like watching more content, which should be rolling out here shortly in the next week or so, please hit the subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and we'll catch you on the next video.